Yeah, we'll start. Welcome, everybody. I am Dan Shachter.
And I'm Dana Ganihar, and we both from Israel.
And we will be your hosts for this seminar of 8 meetings that we're starting today. Yeah, let me also introduce to you our technical assistants, Matanel and Jenna, and they will in a minute mention a few things that we need to know, technical things, and they will be assisting us along this seminar. And first of all, yeah, I will say just very shortly a few words. We'll have a few introductory words before we start Rob Parker's lecture. Rob is our lecturer today. So just as a general description of the structure of our meetings, we will have a presentation for the first part of our meetings for 45 minutes. And then the second half of our meetings will be led by Dana and me. We will tell you about it in more detail when we get there today at the second half of our meeting today. And we also want to repeat a general, or to stress a general request. This seminar has been planned with the central intention of enabling experiential learning. Now, we know that there might be several reasons why you might not be always able to be present online, but we do want to ask you to try as much as you can to be present for most of the meetings and for the whole continuity of the meetings. And as you know, you will be receiving afterwards recordings of the meetings, but that is meant just as a way to fill in information for the times when you are really not able to be here online. So we wanted to stress that again, because we really do want this to be, as I said, experiential learning, and to get a sense of what we're all going through, the process, the learning as we go on. Okay, so maybe now, if you could unmute everyone, and we would like everyone just to say your names and where you're from.
Okay, everybody's unmuted.
So maybe Matanel and Jenna, you start, and then we just go on.
I can start. My name is Jenna Chevalier. I'm here in Toronto, Canada today, trying to stay warm.
Hi, my name is Matanel Weissman. I'm a volunteer in the International Focusing Institute. I will be the third person, and Jenna will also be the third person. Jenna will take questions if needed, and me too. You can send me by chat.
And then we would like to suggest on this basis to sense for a few moments into what we would describe as your implicit knowing of what made you join this class. Your sense of the importance for you personally to be here. To sense into your curiosity. And to invite whatever comes, if it makes sense or if it doesn't make sense, or if there is more than sense. And if that's okay for you, to take a minute to write down maybe just one sentence of something that came up in this very short tuning in. Okay. Yeah. So on this basis, I think we should be ready to hear Rob's presentation. And I will introduce Rob to all of us, for those of us who know him and for those who don't. So Rob Parker is a certified focusing trainer and coordinator who studied philosophy with Jean Gendlin approximately every week from 2003 until Jean's death in 2017. In addition to publishing and lecturing on Jean's philosophy, Rob has been teaching webinars on a process model and on experiencing and the creation of meaning since 2009. In his other life as a psychologist specialized in psychological trauma, Rob has created and managed several treatment programs, published and lectured for professional audiences, advised legal and governmental organizations, and appeared in national media such as the New York Times and MSNBC. Rob is constantly amazed by the power of Jean's philosophy and how it continually expands and deepens our awareness of ourselves and of the world. Rob, please.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Dan and Donna, and thank you, everybody, for being here. I just feeling, especially during the focusing a moment ago, feeling just being with many friends, old and new. And I'm wanting to share something with you, which is very important, I think, to all of us and to the world. And that is process model. What is the process model? Well, the process model is philosophy. And then what is philosophy? Well, philosophy can be thought of as the study of different ways of thinking. And this gets interesting because most of us, especially in North America, especially in the English-speaking world, we don't know that there are different ways of thinking because predominantly we've grown up in a Western scientific worldview for about 400 years, and we have just one way of thinking, and we've forgotten that there are other ways of thinking. And so philosophy is important, in the process model in particular, important because it's sharing with us or reminding us of the possibility that the world is more than just what we have always assumed that it must be. So how do we find other ways of thinking in the world today? One way is to remember back like the medieval worldview and what it was like for people in 1400 or 1600. And we can do that, and that's interesting, but it takes some time and effort to go back that far and study them. Also, to look at other languages and cultures. And anybody who's bilingual knows a little bit about different ways of thinking. How many people here are bilingual? Okay, like a few people. So you know what I mean then. If you have two languages, it's like having two worlds, right? And you know that there are two different ways of being, at least. But often they're just ways of thinking within a Western scientific worldview. So it's not completely different. So then another way of doing this would be to make an analogy. Another way of thinking is like a Gestalt shift. It's like a figure that can be seen in two ways. We could say that reality can be experienced in more than one way. And so we can get a feel of what philosophy might be like by looking at a Gestalt shift. So I want to share with you a figure which some of you may have seen before. And let's see if I can pull this up. Okay, can you see that? How many people can see that? Okay, good, good. And how many people here can see a parrot? Okay. How many people can see something other than a parrot? Okay. How does it feel for me to say, and in fact, this is true, I cannot see a parrot when I look at that. I just don't see a parrot. And I haven't for a long time, and I'm incapable of seeing a parrot. What would you make of that? Anybody? Is everybody on mute?
I notice, Rob, this is Pat.
Yeah. Hi, Pat.
Hi. And I notice that I have some kind of judgment that there's a way that you used to be able to see a parrot, but you've you've lost that overpowering other images there.
Yeah. And it's you'll see in a minute. I think in a minute you'll see what I see.
I think I see what you see, and I can move back and forth.
Oh, okay. So you see two things.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What I found is that having spent enough time with this, I see it only one way now, and it's hard for me to go back to the other way. But we'll talk about that in a second. For those who see the parrot and don't see anything but a parrot, can you see my cursor on the screen? Yes? Okay. So this is a little bit like philosophy. This is like learning to see the world in a different way. And so we can start off by looking at details of what we take for granted and see if the details are exactly the way we thought they should be. So down here at the parrot's tail, look at that carefully. Does that look exactly like a parrot's tail? Anybody see anything strange about that tail?
It looks like a leg.
It looks like a leg, doesn't it?
Mm.
And parrots don't have legs, right? And then, what about this? Is that like the wing of a parrot? What does that look like?
A knee?
A knee. It looks like a knee, huh? And what about here? There's the parrot's eye. But look at the whole of the parrot's head. What's going on there? What does that look like?
I keep going ahead.
It looks like a head, right? So what is this actually a picture of?
It's a person.
It's a person, right?
A dancer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And it's a photograph, right?
Yeah.
It's a photograph of a person in a position and with her body painted, right? So we start off. Everybody see the woman now. Anybody not see the woman? Yeah.
There's some said that they don't see the woman.
Oh, okay. I don't have the full screen. Anybody that doesn't see the woman, speak up.
And unmute yourself. Yeah.
Unmute yourself. Yeah. So here would be like a shoulder and an arm. And here's her arm going up over her head and her hand curled around. And a face, right? And her face is painted. There's a white painting on her face, but you can see her lips and her nose. And there's her knee, and there's a leg stretched down. And she's sitting on a wooden stump. Everybody see that now?
Yes.
Yeah. So what the process model is trying to do is to help us see the world in a different way. So this is just a picture. But imagine, like, the world, who we are and our relationship to the world, if that could change in a similar way, that would be a big deal, right? Right?
Right.
Right.
Right, yeah, yeah. So I'm going to take this down now. Oh, stop share. Okay. So then we can also, that's a Gestalt shift. So you can see things in one way, and the whole thing shifts at once, right? And when we're making the shift, it doesn't do any good to argue about whether, say, that's not really a tail, that's a foot, or that's not a foot, that's a tail. It depends on the whole thing shifting at once. And before one has made the shift, it's perfectly easy to find things wrong with somebody who sees it differently than we do, right? And so that's an interesting thing about learning a new philosophy. When I started off learning a process model, I would argue with it. And it's easy to argue with it because everything's wrong about it if it's giving a different vision or different experience of the world. Then it's going to be different from my experience, so I can find a million things wrong with it. And it's perfectly easy to do that. And it's also not helpful. It's like taking in something all at once and trying to feel into it and find out what is it in this other person's experience that they're trying to share. So we can do this in a different level now. We can, instead of just a visual thing, we can do an experiential thing. And a way to start that off would be to look at our experience of time and notice how when we experience time, isn't it kind of like a line? It's like we look forward into the future, we look back into the past, we anticipate what's ahead, we have feelings about what's behind us, and we live at this point in time, right? So our language and our way of thinking about time is really an analogy with a line in space. Can everybody feel that? Yeah. Okay. Hold up your hand if you can feel that. Okay, great. And now, like, sort of savor that and then put it aside for a moment, and we'll see if we can experience time in a different way. So imagine or feel the moment now, like get a felt sense of this moment now, and just notice what it's like now. And notice how this moment includes a sense of who you are, why you're here, where you are, your life, your family, your friends, your different things that you're going to do today. All of that is here now too, right? And all of that is past, right? So the past is here now, forming and kind of structuring the present. Can everybody feel that? Yeah. And also, there's an orientation toward the future, like not exactly like the future here, but there's a feel of what you're going to be doing next. There's a anticipation of what I might say next. Maybe looking forward to what you might learn here, and also a sense of what you're going to be doing after this talk. And so there's a kind of an orientation toward the future, which is also here now. Can you feel that also? And so this now is not at all like a point in time, right? It's like kind of like a smear or something. It's spread out. And there's really no way that you could separate this moment from the next moment from the next moment. They're not like points. Can you feel that? And by making it a point in time, what does that do? That separates us from the experience that we actually have of the past, helping to shape or form the present, and also the anticipation of the future. That's stripped out in this timeline notion. And it makes us less than we are. It makes us less human. It strips out what Jean would call the implicit. It strips out the context of our lives. It makes this moment in time just what it is, without any context, without any human meaning. Can everybody sense that? Yeah. And when you feel the fullness of this moment with the past in it, like the fullness of your whole life, you're forming this moment, your interest in philosophy and your interest in focusing that brought you here, and the relationships that you have, and the whole meaning of your life, and also what you're going to be doing next. And if you hold that and then think back to the timeline metaphor, how does that feel? Can anybody say anything? You have to take yourself off mute.
That it's not anymore a line, but a space.
It's not a line. Yeah, yeah. How would it feel to put yourself back into that line?
Very narrow.
Very narrow. Yeah.
Very limited, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But I have to say also sometimes very simple.
Very simple. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. Thank you.
And we have another question from Ina. She can speak.
Yes, Ina.
About the photo you showed earlier.
Mm-hmm.
One can say that the truth is it's a woman or person with a painted body.
Yes.
But with different ways of seeing the world, is one true and all others not?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That's a good question. Yeah. That's actually a limitation of the picture, because the picture is really properly seen in one way. And that's how come I just see a woman now. I've done this enough times that when my eye goes to that picture, I just see a woman. And it's very actually difficult for me now. I mean, really difficult. I was doing it this morning. Difficult to imagine how anybody could look at that and see a parrot. So that's a limitation. In the one that we just did, yeah? Okay, the one that we just did, the experiential one about time, time can be legitimately, truly experienced in both ways. And the timeline is actually pretty cool. If you're going to show up for a Zoom meeting at a certain time, that's nice, yeah? So we don't want to throw that out. But also we don't want to throw out ourselves and reduce ourselves to like a simple, points on a line, right? So that's a good point, Anna. Thank you for bringing that up. Anybody else?
Well, Rob, I found that when I was in the timeline metaphor, past, present, those words worked. In the other one, those words don't work at all. It's a completely other experience of something I could call maybe flow or what, but has not, past, present, and future felt intrusive and not at all what I was experiencing.
Yeah. Then that's a good point. It's that there's been a way of thinking has developed from the scientific revolution. Gene calls it the unit model, and it's infused our language, so that we don't have language anymore for our actual experiencing, and that means that it's doing violence to us. It's that, like Ina was saying, that there's with the picture, there's just actually one way of seeing it. It's a picture of a woman. And if somebody sees only the parrot, then, you know, once they see the woman, that's just there. And the unit model is trying to do that to us. And it's saying that the unit model is really the only way to understand things. And that is pernicious and harmful. First of all, it's a lie. It's not true. It's false to say that there's only one way to experience the world. And it's particularly false if that one way it happens to strip out what our humanity, right? And so that's it's something that needs to be addressed. It's something that needs to be corrected. Yeah. Can everybody feel that?
Yeah, I have a question. May I ask?
Please.
Could you say a bit more about the subject of violence? You called it, it's like it's violent to our being or to our experience, something like that. Could you say some more sentence about it?
Wow. Well, in the in this general way of thinking, I could say it in two ways. One is that if we just imagine putting ourselves back in the timeline, so that it makes us be just like a kind of an objective, almost mannequin of who we really are. With no past, no future inherent in the moment now, there's kind of a false objectivity which misrepresents us. And the thing is that this is just a little microcosm of the problem. This is a little piece of the process model which we can share and talk about without bringing in everything else. But you can see that if you pay attention to that and take it seriously, then everything else is going to have to change also. And what the unit model is doing is telling us that everything is just an object. Everything in the world is just made out of things. You know, it's like matter. And what the universe is just matter rearranged in different ways. I've got planets and atoms, and they map everything out, and you've described the universe, and that's all there is. And everything, the meaning of everything is only what we can do with it. So the meaning of sodium and chlorine, for example, is that if you bring them together, you make salt. And so then we can use salt for something. And if you look at all the descriptions of the elements, the table of elements and so on, and just everything is about what we can do with it. And then people are what we can do. So people become resources. We have in English, we have the Department of Human Resources in organizations, so that people are resources to be exploited. And it just goes on and on. So maybe I should just slow down here. Does that answer the question?
Rob, there's a really great comment, I think, in regards to what the timeline felt like for some people.
Yeah.
From Pat and Ina, they said it was more like a smear.
Yeah.
I think they're talking about like sort of where past, present, and future are all kind of just one big wash.
Yeah, yeah. In the timeline, they're like one big wash.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting how pervasive the timeline story is. Like if it's a timeline, one of the things that means is that where we are on the line is just arbitrary, right? We could be anywhere on the line. And that means that if you had a time machine, you could go from here to here. And you'd have, like Doctor Who, flying around in his phone booth, going back to ancient Rome or going back ahead into the future. And it's like with no past or and future something anticipation inherent in the moment now, you could switch things around arbitrarily that way. And you can see how pervasive that way of thinking is.
I think Pat has a question.
Good, go ahead.
I wanted to know if I could make a comment about it, that it's, when you said that it was a sense of violence, my reaction, my personal feeling was the violence, the restriction I feel in bringing my creative self to my business world, because in my business world, we're expected to be linear and precise and future and past and that. So for me to talk about schmears and vague things with new words is very hard.
Yes, yes.
I feel devalued.
Yeah.
I have to be careful.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Organizations function like machines. And you have an organization chart. You've got slots in the chart where certain functions are filled. And if somebody doesn't do their job well, you pull them out of that slot and you put somebody else in that slot. And the individuality and the relationships are not important, right? And so that's another example of what this way of thinking does, the unit model way of thinking. So that's what that's an example of experiencing the world in different ways, and an example of how important it is to be aware that it's possible to experience the world in different ways. And the process model is an exploration of a whole different way. It's a way of like imagine like starting with the parrot and seeing a woman, and then starting with linear time and then experiencing like, I don't know, three-dimensional time or experiencing this smear time. And then imagine everything changing. Imagine the whole world changing so that it's a human world that's our world, and that we're part of it and it's part of us. Actually, another example of that. Imagine the old story about that we're aliens or the world is alien and it's a cold universe that doesn't care about us at all. Everybody heard that story? The objective, cold, hard universe and survival of the fittest and all of that stuff. Notice your breathing. And just feel the air going into your lungs, going out of your lungs. And notice how the lungs, the chest expanding, and the air coming in is a single process. It's not like chest expands and then air comes in. It's that air coming in and chest expanding are one event. And then chest contracting, air going out, a single event. And that this body is part of the world, that the air is part of our body process as much as our lungs are part of our body. The air is part of the body too. Yeah. And that everything is that way. Our skeletons are perfect for a planet of this size. we evolved here, and we are part of this environment, and it's part of us. It's a single process. How many people can feel that? Yeah, yeah. And when you feel that, that's not an argument, right? That's just true, right? And so it's not at all that we're aliens here or that it's a cold, hard universe. This is us. This is our universe, our world. So the process model is working out all of those things. In order to think coherently about everything, and to include Zoom and science and everything, you have to rethink a lot of stuff. And so Gene has rethought a lot of stuff in the process model. And so it's a really fun exploration. It's like a challenge and a continuous stretching. I think of it as a spiritual practice like yoga or meditation, not at all like reading a book. And it's a continuous development. When I started off reading a process model, I was thinking, well, how soon will I be done? I remember marking the pages, and I'm 40 pages from the end, and 30 pages from the end, and stuff. And now I look back on that, it's like I imagine like if you're going to a new city like Paris, and you visit Paris, and you think, oh my God, how soon am I going to be done? I've covered this street and then this next street, and how fast can I finish Paris and get out of here and go on to something else? That's crazy, right? It's really to be there and to enjoy it, and to grow, and to take it in, and it's an ongoing process. So I think we have about 10 minutes left, I think, right? One more thing that I'd like to share. If we go back to this sense of time and noticing how the past is structuring and forming, shaping our present now, and then notice how we're continuously creating the past that is doing this shaping, right? Like every word that I say is going on in the words that I already spoke, and is shaped by the words I already spoke, and is will be shaping the words that I'm saying next. So I'm sort of like a snail, creating an environment for myself and living forward in that environment. Can you feel that? Yeah. So our thoughts, our actions, our relationships, the building that we're in is continuously generated by us, and we're living forward in the context that we're creating by living now. Yeah. Everybody feel that? Yeah. So it's hard to describe that, and Gene's way of describing it is with the Greek letter theta. And let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to share screen again. And here we go. Okay, can you see this? This little funny squiggle here? How many people can see it? Raise your hand. Okay. So imagine we're going forward. Imagine we're going to do this in linear time. We're going to sort of pretend that it's linear time, and we're going to show that it's strange in linear time, but it's a way of describing it. So like as I'm speaking, I'm going forward, and then I'm going around and picking up the past and then going forward again. So it's a continuous going around and picking up what I've just done and then going forward and picking it up again and picking it up again. Can you see that? Everybody? Okay. And then let me see if I can move this. This is from the new edition of the process model. Let me make this smaller. Okay. So then the like living would be like I'm going forward, going around to pick up the past, going forward again, going around to pick up the past, going forward again. So you're putting these Greek letter thetas on top of each other. And then we could think of our living as something like that. Can you imagine that? Show me like with 5 fingers if you absolutely get it, and like 2 fingers or something if you don't really get it, and 1 finger if you're really angry about it. And, okay, how many people sort of get it? Okay, okay, great, okay. Yeah, so I can't see everybody because of the shared screen, but I get the sense that most people are getting it. So then Jean points out that if you compress that and you ignore the circles and ignore the thetas, then you're ignoring the complexity and the intricacy and the implicit of our living. But then what you end up with is the old timeline, right? So you go from here, like, to here. And so there's a way of thinking about what's happened to us with this linear notion of time. It just got compressed. We ignored the implicit, and we make this kind of story, a fiction about a line without any inherent meaning in it. But the meaning is actually here. It's like we're continuously living forward the past. And so this Greek letter theta is important to Jean. And in some way, it represents the core of his whole philosophy. And I wonder if anybody has ever seen that theta before. Yeah, somebody's seen it before. Yeah, what about that? Yeah. So that's the logo of the Focusing Institute. And that's where it comes from. Yeah, so how many people are with me still?
Have a question now.
Good, good.
All right, I know that we live on different levels, and of course we know that we're gonna do this call and end it and go forward, but I'm not sure I understand the theta, because in that there's still a linear movement. There's a moving forward, and I'm not sure on the deepest level that's true, or my truth, or
yeah, and you're absolutely right. And Jean points that out. It's a kind of a crude way of drawing it, and it's part of the like in one way it doesn't work. It's just linear, and you're right. And Jean is saying that this is one way to draw it. But one thing that's good about it is that, let's see if I can find it again. Yeah, okay. That it points to the contradictions of the linear model, because here we're starting off and we're going forward in time to, like, we're anticipating a future. I'm forming the words that I'm going to speak next, and then in order to do that, though, we're going around and picking up the past, and so we're going backward in time. And in this theta, we're going forward and backward in time at the same time. And he points out that that does not make sense at all in linear time. That's a deep contradiction. And so it's all by way of agreeing with you that the linear time model is very clunky. It distorts our experience. It misrepresents who we are. And But if you use it to point to what it's more than, or what it's less than, what's more than it, then it brings out some of the problems in a kind of an elegant way. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah. Mariki?
Yes, it makes me think about a remark I heard from a psychologist who said, someone is never too old to remember himself a happy youth again.
Say that again?
I think you're never too old to remember yourself a happy youth again.
Yeah.
So when you're living forward and you can take your past with you, so you can also make yourself the things you remember. You can do something about the things you remember.
Yes.
You can feel yourself happier in something like that.
That also is a very deep, and that's a perceptive comment. Just briefly, we can notice that the meaning of the past is continuously formed now in the present. And we can see it in the United States. The meaning of the American Civil War is being formed right now with the presidency of Obama and now the presidency of Donald Trump. It's about race relations and freedom. And so you could say that the meaning of the Civil War is continuously being created today.
Yeah.
And so the past isn't finished. It's not even past.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I think the best description I heard of the limitations of thinking of just a point in the linear time was a friend of mine who described her mother who had very advanced Alzheimer's. And she said, she's just living every single moment, but it's all really thin.
Yeah, it's all really thin.
Thin.
Yeah,
she doesn't remember she's loved by her family. She doesn't remember, kind of language. And I often think of that as a good example of, the past is gone from her. And, even the next moment is kind of gone, and the future is, and so the present is kind of bewildering.
Yes.
Even though she's was really well cared for.
Yes.
So I often think that's just a nice example for me.
Yes. There's some nice videos on YouTube. If you look up global transient amnesia, you'll find a video of a woman who lost her short-term memory and has no idea minute by minute where she is and how she got there. And she's sitting in a hospital, of course, and she's continuously disoriented. And it's luckily global transient amnesia, although it's like quite a drastic thing. It lasts a short time, about 24 hours, and people recover without any ill effects. And so it's completely benign, but it's pretty spectacular. And you see somebody without a sense of the past, just continuously disoriented. And it can be terrifying. It wasn't in that video, not terrifying, because she's with her daughter. And, yeah.
I think this is also very true in working with trauma flashbacks, that we know when we sit with people or when we experience that ourselves, that the past is smeared over into that present moment.
That's right. And one of the problems with trauma is that the past doesn't get to participate in the present. It takes over the present.
Yes.
And then we shove it back again, and we get back into the present by our fingernails, and then we try to keep it out.
Yeah.
And so what it needs to do is, Jean's term is a veving, where the past and the present can influence each other.
Can you say that term again?
Veving, E-V-E-V,
Eving.
A veving. Yeah, you'll find it in the process model.
Yeah, I noticed it, but that's what that is.
That's what that is. It's that one instance of a veving is the way the past shapes the present now and forms and makes it what it is, but the present at the same time is shaping the past in doing that. And that process is disrupted in trauma.
Yeah.
Would you be able to repeat that very slowly, please? The very
just,
concept. What's the name of the concept?
Oh, EVEVING. It's chapter 4. EVEVING. Yeah.
Chapter 5.
Chapter 4.
4. Thanks.
Yeah.
So maybe we just take one more comment or questions, and then we move to our second part.
Okay. One more? Okay. I'd just like to summarize with...
well, there was one thing more, because that was the very concept. I would like you to repeat, spell it out again once.
Sure. So I have to... I can't say it accurately in the time that we have, but I can say it roughly, and then you can get it better by reading chapter 4. But it's that for example, the way the past shapes the present, but the present also forms the past. And everything is affecting everything else. Everything's inter-affecting. Good. Every aspect of the present is shaping every aspect of the past and vice versa.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I've said it in a very, very stripped down, simplified way. It's still simple. It's just that we don't have language for it. So you need more language. But something like that is what it is. And the thing I want to say at the end is just that how really important this is. This is important for transforming ourselves. This is like a spiritual quest in a way, if you like that language. It's like a meditation or a yoga practice. But it's also important for the world. The world is hurt. And this technological unit model way of thinking has been very powerful and very helpful, and also very destructive to our humanity. And that we need to keep what's good, but we need to carry it further. And we need to bring our humanity into this again, too. And that this is a thing of historical importance. This is really, really important. And with that, then, thank you very much for your patience. I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rob, for your inspiring introduction. And we would like now to have an experiential exercise, and we will do it in pairs. There's a possibility to do it while we are on the Zoom call. And before I'll explain the exercise, Netanel will say a little bit about how it. You understand? Netanel will pair you, and it will be automatically. Each one of you will find him or herself with a surprise in the room. And then after some time, we'll just call you back again to the shared meeting. I will tell you in a minute. After each lecture, we will have a different exercise. So I can share screen with the invitation for the focusing right now. Yeah, do you see this?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So what we invite you to do now, if you like, is to choose something from the presentation that might be a leading edge for you. Something that felt intriguing or exciting or disturbing, or simply something that you did not understand. So you choose this living edge, and then you sense into that and be open to the more that may come. And after we'll call you back, we want to have a little bit of sharing, things that you explored and found. So I'll stop share. Everyone have it? Okay. And since you don't know each other, you may want to ask the focuser if they have any request for you as a listener. And we'll have about, it will be 15 minutes each. Okay, 15 minutes each, which means that after 30 minutes, we'll call you back in. Dan, you want to add something?
No, I think that's it. Just to make sure that you will be called back automatically, right, Matanel? You don't need to take care of that yourselves. You will just rejoin to the whole group. And so just to check with everyone, if the instructions for the exercise are clear.
Just a question about the time, 15 minutes to each?
Each,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
30 minutes altogether.
Thanks.
Okay, so we'll just start and we'll see you all back here in half an hour. Should be, yeah. Okay, so it seems that everybody's back. And yeah, we'd like to take just a few minutes. We won't have time for much, but if someone would like to share something about what came up in this focusing session.
I don't know how to say it, but that's always a good start, right? At least in this room.
Exactly.
So
in
I
this,
was
in this culture, it is.
Yeah, I was in a threesome with Jan and Jan, and Jan on the phone, and I have to just, I know I've heard a term or a concept someone else is going to remember, but it's just so much richer research together. I feel like when other people focused, I was focusing. I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like the exploration is so much bigger, you know, refertilizing each other, something like that.
When you're three, you mean?
Well, no, well, yes, for me it was, yes. But I mean, when we're we.
When we are we.
When we're we, okay. I see. Yeah, right.
I would like to say something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ruth.
I mean, Ruth, yeah. There were many things in the session, in the short session, but for me, I had a feeling that somehow the future is more neglected. So also when Rob was talking, and also in my personal experience, in my personal session, that I could feel, or I don't know, be aware of the past and the present in the now, but somehow in the end the future came here and it was like, hey, I'm also here, kind of, yeah. And this was very interesting, and I just wanted to say it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
I would like to speak.
All right. Who is that? Please say your name.
I'm Paula.
Paula. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I so appreciate this process when it's in a small group, one-on-one, perhaps three. But my question is, when you're working with groups of people in an organization, and there's limited time, and I have often been caught in meetings where there is this we're going forward, but wait a minute, I want to go back and I got to go around again, and nothing gets accomplished. And so I had this felt sense of how cozy I am with the unit model in groups. And is there a way when there something needs to get done to have deeper exploration without derailing the agenda?
Let me say quickly, there's a guy named Jack Gibb, G-I-B-B, who wrote about that a lot. And basically the answer is that do it deliberately. That the unit model is good for groups because it keeps us on track. Yeah. And if we want to do process, then stop that and do the process deliberately and then go back to the
Aha, so you kind of make room for both, but it's not mixed up.
Yeah, that's right, and do it consciously.
Thank you.
Dynamic facilitation does some of that, you know?
Yeah.
Rosa Rieta, her work, Dynamic, they do that. How did you spell Jack's last name, Rob?
G-I-B-B.
P like Parker, P like Parker?
P, yeah, B as in Betty.
Oh, B as in Betty.
Yeah.
I, Parker.
Yeah.
Thank you.
G-I-B-B.
So, yes, anybody else, something to share?
Rob?
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I really, really love the way that you explain and are with the process model at Jean's memorial when you spoke and now today. It just makes it so accessible and rich, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate just the openness of you and everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is Jan. I have something.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so for me, the point that jumped out suddenly was the white spaces around the theta. And it harks back into, like, as a child in grammar school, writing cursive, learning to write cursively, and all the attention goes to the ink that goes down on the paper, and losing the sense of the feel. And that was like really strengthened when you said the thing about them squishing all the thetas together so that it becomes just a solid black line. You know? So for me, there's a lot of recognition of like ways in which I got inducted into the unit model.
Yeah.
The white space got stressed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Kel, may I speak?
Yes,
Sure.
Kel, go ahead.
Yes, I can. Oh, good. I also want to appreciate Rob. I appreciated your presentation a lot. Both the examples and spending so much time with each example, and also the pace where you let us tune in, or let me tune in and sense whether this made sense for me and what kind of sense it made for me. So it gave a richness which I could appreciate and take advantage of in the prayer work which I did afterwards. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes, Beverly, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, trying to consolidate what I want to say. So what came for me was, and it's exciting, frustration. And that was like really great to have a word for it. Because what I've been sensing, Rob, is Dr. Parker, as you were talking about the enveving in the past coming into the future and influencing back and forth, where this word frustration came from is as when I'm with others. For example, I've been going in San Diego, they have what's it called? The Center for the Studies of the Person. I call it the Carl Rogers Center.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I go to their encounter groups.
Mm.
Yeah. But when I use focusing words, they bring other words back. And that's not bad, but that's what it is for me, is it's all this, I'm feeling a sameness. And some can sense that, others don't. And going on with it, that's the same when I talk to people around nutrition, right? So the same is when it's this frustration that I have a sense that our words are getting in the way.
Yeah.
And so, thank you. I'm loving frustration right now.
It's an important thing that when we hear something new, we inevitably absorb it into what we already know. So we use the concepts we've got to understand something new. And if it doesn't fit, the new thing doesn't fit our old concepts, then it gets subsumed into the old concepts. And so you say something new to somebody and they say back the old thing to you. And it's frustrating. Mm-hmm. And it's also when we're reading a process model or any philosophy, the same thing happens to us. That we'll struggle to understand something, and then when we finally understand it, we've got the concepts to read it, then we read it and it turns out he just wrote it, just in plain English right in front of us, and we didn't see it. Mm-hmm. So it's a deep problem you're pointing to.
And also I feel like adding that if we could adopt that loving of frustration, I think it will make this journey much more enjoyable for all of us. This seminar and also when reading Jean's philosophy, the process model.
That's right.
If I had been able to love more my frustration as I was going on, it would have been much nicer.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting close to ending. So Rob, would you like to say something about the publication, and then we'll say a few words about the in-between meetings?
Yes. So we have a fantastic event. Northwestern University Press is the most important press historically for many, many years of everything to do with existential phenomenology, which is the philosophical territory that Jean is in. Northwestern just came out with the process model, and so you can get a brand new book here, a brand new edition of the process model. And the process model is hard to read, and if you want an easier way in, we have Saying What We Mean, which is also a collection of Jean's writings, articles. And so they're short pieces, they're easier to read. And so both of these books just came out. It's a major event. Yeah. You can get them on Amazon.
What about the Focusing Institute? We can't get them there yet?
I don't know.
Should be able to get them.
Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, so again, thank you so much, Rob, for starting this in such an interesting and exciting and inspiring way. Donna, would you like to say what we suggest for?
We suggest that in between the classes, you will focus with the same partner. We will send you the emails list so you can contact each other. And what we suggest, if you like, is the name of this seminar is Kaleidoscoping into the Implicit. Kaleidoscoping into the Implicit. And we suggest that you just focus on this name and sense and explore what comes with it. And we also invite you to write some of it down, and we'll find a way that we can maybe share it in between classes, or maybe in the beginning, very shortly in the beginning of the next class. So one thing is to have your partnership during these 2 weeks. Also, if you all of a sudden have a question for Rob, send to us, and he said he will be delighted to read it and to answer, and will send the answer to the whole group.
And also, if you have the time and it's okay for you, we're curious in hearing back from you something about what came up for you in the initial tuning in about your sense of being here at the start of this seminar. So if you feel like sending that to us, we'll be happy.
And of course, any questions or requests or things that you would like to know, we are here. Any question, any last question regarding that needs to be asked?
I have got one question and one comment. No, I've got no questions. I've got two. I've got a comment and an appreciation of the two of you as well. The comment is that I would like those of you who are native English speakers to speak much slower than you feel natural, because the rest of us who are non-English native speakers, at least for me, although my English is quite good, it is hard to grasp concepts from time to time, and more often than it may seem to you. So I would urge you to speak as slowly as possible, all of you, please. And to Dan and Dana, I appreciate this forum and this format, and I like the opening, and I think this one's done in a very focusing way, and I'm looking forward to the partnership with Monica and to next time we're meeting. So that was what I wanted to share.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we will see you all in 2 weeks from now.
You can unmute yourself and say hello and
hello.
Goodbye.
Hello.
Goodbye.
Hello and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Yes.
Bye.